It's at the end of the afternoon that we see the last race of the weekend with Formula One cars from 1966 to 75. The most recent, almost 30 years old. It nonetheless seems obvious that some good ideas of the time could still be used today. Among the 22 cars at the start, 10 manufacturers are represented, with only one model present twice. For this last race, there are 15 laps on the program. Even before the start, the unlucky person of the heat is Sean Walker. His Lotus 72 has problems and he's not able to get started. Unfortunately, he's not the only one. On the first row, the Tyrrell six-wheeler of the Englishman Martin Stretton, who doesn't let himself be surprised at the start. The Brabham BT26 of Marseille is also off from the front line, but is passed by the Penske PC3 of Sittner. But in the Beau Rivage Hill, Marseille takes back the second place. Noise, tyres and dimensions are about all one sees in modern-day Formula One cars, with a little less technical imagination than for the single-seaters of the 70s. The six-wheeler is leading easily. Further back we see the green and yellow Brabham of Marseille with an older-style silhouette. The pack of 22 cars gets through the principal difficulties of the circuit without any problems, even the most delicate to negotiate. Stretton shows the cornering reliability of his Tyrrell multi-wheels, which was driven by Ronnie Peterson in the Grand Prix of Austria and Holland in 1977. And while Stretton's well installed in first, Marseille is being attacked by number 36, the English Frank Sittner. There's drama at the top of the Beau Rivage uphill. The bad luck again takes its toll on Marseille. His Brabham BT26 looks like it passed just a little too close to one of his competitors, and he heads off and crashes against the barriers. Meantime, Stretton and his Tyrrell are seen in a tangle with his compatriot Sittner in a Penske PC3 from 1975. Behind them, the number 6, Ryan Delane in his Tyrrell 006, followed by number 18, Rodrigo Gallego in a March 761. Let's work on the track for the marshals of the ACM. Well, number 16, Danny Baker in his Shadow DN5 records the best lap and passes Gallego in braking up to the chicane. He takes 4th place. In the 4th lap, 3rd place Ryan Delane has a transmission problem in his Tyrrell 006. He loses his position to the profit of Baker. In an attempt not to lose contact with Baker, Gallego pushes it too hard in braking into Saint-Devant. Stretton's firmly installed in command. Nobody seems to be able to threaten him now, but while he is serene in the lead, behind him the wear of the tyres and fatigue of the other drivers starts to make itself felt. In the Saint-Devant, there's a tangle between the BRM of Krauser and the McLaren of Clark. Again in the Saint-Devant, it's number 5, the Brabham of Robert Baker, who's off the track. Well, immunized from this epidemic, Penske number 36 seems to be able to get away from the batch, one of the rare American single-seaters to have rubbed shoulders with the Formula One championship. It was between 1974 and 76, and this model was raced by the UK driver John Watson. An incident for the shadow number 16 of Baker, who'll drop down from 3rd to 7th place. One who doesn't show any signs of weakness is the leader, Martin Stretton. His Tyrrell P34 always appears at the summit, lap after lap. And the other Tyrrells a little slower, but which also prove to be very reliable, like the number 6 of the American Delane, a 006-52, which will finish 5th. These last laps are transformed into what looks like a weekend stroll for Stretton, who nonetheless records the best lap in the race in 1 minute 40.307, an average of 119.8 kilometers per hour. He concludes with a gap of 12.5 seconds back to second place. He'll have completed his 15 laps with an average speed of 117.3 kilometers per hour. He comes in ahead of Frank Sittner in the Penske. Third place goes to Gallego in a March. Largely accustomed to historic races, Stretton looks back at his victory.
I was very worried before the start because there were many cars and there have been problems in practice, but I must compliment all the back markers. They drove very considerately, very thoughtfully, and I had a very straightforward race. I was pleased.
The show is over. A performance which has obviously pleased the public, layman or specialist.
For me, this is a passion for Formula One, and I think more people should come and see the classic events because this is really special, very special. Great camaraderie, great friendship, great people here, and great old motorcars.
All now that remains is to make an appointment in 2 years' time for the 5th edition of the historic Grand Prix. In Monaco, where machines of any origin feel at home, for them as well, history goes on.